Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Captain's Draft 4.0 by Events DC here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. It's another beautiful, frigid day here, a beautiful Saturday morning, and we're back with yet another panel of beautiful faces. Boys, how does it feel to be back for day 2 in the venue?
A lot better. It's really warm today. The heater was on all night.
Warm.
I feel great. A lot more energy.
Warmer than yesterday, at least, but we're still warming up. That's the important thing to keep in mind. It felt like it was almost getting colder yesterday. It's frigid.
Yes. Is that true?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, the games are really exciting. At least we got to see the top half of the bracket be mostly concluded. That was pretty exciting. A lot of really good games, and I expect we'll have the same kind of stuff this day as well. Yeah.
How you feeling, Jack?
Pretty good. The hats probably helped a little bit. You know, it's good.
It looks good.
What is the purpose of these hats? I think you have it backwards, don't you?
Maybe, but the headset has limitations.
Well, so there was a big debate backstage before we went on whether this is the proper way to wear the hat. Slack said this is how pirates wear it because it blocks the sun out of their eyes, and the other way is how non-pirates wear it, I suppose.
The sun is a really big problem right now, so.
Yeah.
That's true. Inside this building, this old building.
But I believe pirates is actually how the U.S. Navy kind of got its start back in the Revolutionary War days. They had to hire, I think, it was privateers or something to do their raids for them.
I thought it was more about like just going places, and then they're like, "Hey, you guys want to also be the Navy? Okay, cool." That's
I know a lot about this.
I don't know.
Wow, you just dumpstered all over Jack's history lesson there, Purds.
I mean, there feels like more practical reasons for the Navy to exist than just fighting pirates.
I'm with you, Jack. I believe in your theory.
Okay, cool.
All right, Sin, what's happening in your world, man?
I don't know. I don't know so much about sea warfare, so I can talk about Dota.
All right.
If you want.
Well, how about the Dota? You sure watched a lot of it yesterday.
Yep. I think the games were overall pretty good. We had a couple of games, especially towards the later end of the day, where I think it got a bit more draft heavy, the victories, whereas earlier in the day the games were a bit closer, I would say, in that regard. So the question is if that's like, it's hard to say in Captain's Draft, right? Was it just that the pools were, all right, are you okay, Jack? Was it just that the pools were a bit more skewed so that one team was more likely to get an advantage, or are teams actually, as the tournament progresses, starting to pull ahead in terms of drafting advantage? Jack, that hat is not working for you. Right, I'll help you. I got it. Here you go.
I heard everything you said because I definitely wasn't distracted by Jack.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. Thanks for that.
Well, his hat's correct at least. That's good.
Yeah.
Never mind.
As
Jack,
you can see, Sunsfan went all out on the budget with the costumes here, and we have a lot of child-sized hats, it seems like, not a lot of adult-sized hats.
Was that the break point of the saving money? They're like, if we get a child costume, we'll save $1 on each one. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's take a look at the bracket, actually, to remember where we are. Hey, we've got a new guy here. So here we go. That's what I'm talking about. Yesterday, we saw the upper half, Mineski and Payne. That was a quick one. Mineski took it 2-0, and then we saw the big boys, EG and Secret. It was a nail-biter of a best-of-3 that went the stretch, but Secret did take the third match, and they were able to move on to the semifinals, where they took Mineski out 2-0 to wrap out our day. Pretty intense final series, but Secret definitely looking like the stronger team. So they will be now sitting in the finals, awaiting a challenger that we will have determined at the end of today. And of course, that best-of-5 will be coming up tomorrow. It is the grand finals. But today, compLexity versus Vici up first. After that will be OG versus Empire. And then the winners will be squaring off in the semifinals.
Yeah. Did anyone else's brackets get ruined yesterday?
No, actually, I have Secret to win the whole thing, so my bracket's perfect.
Damn, I thought Mineski would beat Secret there.
I think I put Mineski to win that as well. The rest went according to plan.
I'm ruined.
As long as we don't get last.
Well, you know, perfect bracket here. You know.
Really?
I think so.
Okay, good for you.
We'll see. I wish that was true during the NCAA tournament as well, but.
That's a lot harder though. There's way more teams playing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, should we look at the prediction bracket, see what the standings are, be refreshed?
Oh, I'd love to see that.
Oh, yeah.
How did you guys feel? Were you feeling confident at the end of yesterday? Here we go.
I got a couple. Okay. Jack is not wrong. He does have a perfect bracket.
-1. Wonder who that is.
Oh, this is unfair, dude. Jack has been on the panel 5 times, He's got 5 panel points. Of course he's doing well.
Well, don't worry. It'll level out. I don't know if it's ever going to level out for Brax and Mott. I'm not sure why they even were able to participate in this since they're casting pretty much every series instead of paneling.
So basically the bracket points, the only way to get 4 there was if you got the semifinal match correct. So that would be anybody that has 2 points instead of 4 missed the secret versus Mineski flip. Everybody at 2 points did not get that correct, and that means Slacks was the only one to predict one of the first rounds and the semifinals wrong.
Of course, Perch has the detailed breakdown.
The only reason Trent is getting stomped is because he, right before the game started, voted the wrong way 3 times.
Yeah.
So
with panel points, you go +1 if you get it right, -1 if you get it wrong. So Jack and I only had 1 game difference yesterday, but that's why he's at 5 and I'm at 3. And yeah, Trent is way down in the negatives.
Trent is Trent.
Getting it wrong is really bad. That's like a 2-point swing.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It's like MMR, basically.
Yeah,
you go into the game with expected +25, and then if you lose, it feels like you lost 50.
It's really a -50, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to beat Jack at this point. Who'd you have winning the whole tournament?
One of the teams playing in this series right now.
Oh, okay.
Vici
So
Gaming.
we could see an upset.
Yeah.
Might be some bias there, but, you know.
Well, we need to just try to trick Jack into saying the wrong predictions. That way he loses all of his points, I think, is the thing.
Yeah, I'm deeply conflicted this series, too. You know, we have NA Dota or boys from compLexity. It's hard.
It's a tough one.
You could also say it's a win-win, right?
Everybody wins, Jack. No matter what happens, you win. It's either NA Dota or...
Except in panel points.
Except in panel points. The one true currency on this panel. So for those of you that maybe missed some of the action yesterday, we've got a highlight video to get you caught up. There was a lot of good action. We recommend going back and watching those VODs if you were stuck at work, but we've condensed it down to the highlights.
Pain Gaming. Here comes Ice, but HFN isn't going to be able to get the Aegis of the Immortal. Ramble Maze comes out. This is not the area you want to be in. Sonic Wave coming in to finish off here. It's a 2-for-0 right now. Find the HFN kill. Looks like Deathward's going to do a little bit of damage, but that's a lot of Maledicт coming out onto Tideturn. It looks like he will fall one way or the other. In fact, the first one to do so without using Ravage. And a nice double fissure, one canceling King RD's TP, and that's just going to be GG.
This hood or pipe is
Oh my god. Okay, the Raccoon comes out. Not that much damage, actually.
Stampede.
Does mitigate a lot, though. Yep, Stampede putting him in pretty good position. Nether Strike coming out. Looks like Jabzik takes a brunt of that damage. But here comes the Shark, 2 dead. And Pada looks to be next on the list. There's no way they can come out without.
He's got the Hand of Midas, he's got the Force Staff ready to go, but he is going to get jumped on. God Strike, they decrep him, the Nether Blast and Life Drain actually just makes him explode. Shackles now, the Omni Slash coming in, RTZ may be in trouble, the Echo Slam as well. They've got plenty of damage, 2 dead. It's going to be 3 for EG, Secret Art cleaning. He also has the Lotus Orb on him as well. He's going to get Force Forward, Pitus Malice, they've got the Hex up, Bata trying to static link him. He pops the BKB, the Dark Rip, Fear wants to get out of here. They've Ward Tracked him, the Shackles coming as well, and they actually force Fear away. He misses the Dark Rip, and now EG has to run. RTZ getting lower and lower, Bata doing so much work. Yaptor trying to get the enchant totem, doesn't even need the stun to get the kill. I believe you might be dead. Oh, good boulder smash from the Yaptor, but I'm not sure this is going to save him. Good Dream Crawl onto 3. There's going to be a Waning Rift as well. A lot of damage coming in the Chalk, but now they reset the fight. The Golem drop down. The Upheaval is there as well, and RTZ is too tanky and does too much damage. The Blade Fury. Sumel will skewer Ace away. He'll try to Timber Chain out, but he's in trouble. The Chakram not doing nearly enough. Good boulder smash, but it's GG called, and EG will take game number 2. RTZ on the hunt. Wave of Terror coming in. They want the swap back. They've got it. RTZ in trouble. He's got the BKB. The Requiem is going to go. This is going to turn into a team fight. They might find Puppy. The double raise, 1 auto attack will do the job. Dominating spree now for RTZ. Fata Shadowblade up looking for a dual target, trying to find him, and he will. And now the BKB is going, and RTZ is in trouble. They get the axes up. The 1-for-1 trade call down coming in, and Ace is here, but now he manages the Rocket Barrage. And Fear goes in, takes the Aegis down. They might be able to get maybe one. They silence him up as well. They've got another Void ready to go. The Urn Charge going to the Rocket Barrage, and Yaptor trying to get one with the Mystic Flare. They finally will get a double kill for Ace with the Lucid Beam. It's a 4-for-3 trade, and now Ace getting caught by the Rocket. He will get stunned up in Fear, looking for the Rocket Barrage. He has no Manta Style. All he has is Master Madness, and that's going to be another kill going to EG. All 5 dead. Big cheers.
Now he's going to be disappointed with how underwhelming it is.
You get that hopes and dreams. Roar coming in. They found Ace. Can they bring him down? The Eclipse comes through. Good spot for Puppy. He's in trouble. The Super Wars drops as well. Fear pops the BKB. They've got Spot on top of it. And Ace, his BKB running low. He's got to run. The Nether Blast is there. Everybody chasing. Mystic Flare. The call down drops up. A lot of damage being done. EG need to back up and be careful. A double kill from mid-1, but mid-3 gets off the shackles beautifully. RTZ trying to fight this. They're going to get a double kill for him. They're trying to get the kill. It's the Requiem that gets Ace in the end. It's a 4-for-4 trade. And mid-1 almost gets mid-3, who blinks out just in time. Both tier 4s at this point, and now it's just the Ancient.
It feels so hopeless. What can they do?
Captain Draft 4.0 might come to an end for them very quickly. RTZ drops instantly, dueled up the Mystic Flare from Yapso. The only survivor is now going to be Fear. Fountain dive at the end of the game. He will fall a triple kill, and Secret will win and move on. So it's still a 2-for-1 trade, but Yapso up in the trees. Jumping in is going to be the Centaur. Stomp looked for it, but he couldn't find it. Gets a stun for 3 seconds for Ace and gets blown away by Ace. The amount of damage he's doing is serious. The 2-man stun from the Balance Strike. Sanity does nothing other than drain the mana, and 4 dead, about to be 5. A double kill for mid one.
You would love to try and burst down Ice, but obviously a very difficult target.
Exorcism is done. They're going to be able to get off Ravage. Maybe, no, not in time, and that will be the Aegis claimed by Mushi and the Eclipse. That's the reincarnation used at the very least. Puppy's just going to be the martyr for the cause, it looks like. Maybe they're going to try to fight this. They'll take down this kid with the Illuminate. Now coming in, Ravage coming out. They've caught Nana. He can't get out of the pit at this point, and he's going to fall. He'll use himself up for now. The buyback coming in, that'll be from Ninja Boogie, but it's still 2 dead already from Mineski. Icarus dive coming through from Ice. They've lost Fada on the Radiant side, but Ace is still there along with mid one. They want to continue to chase. They've got the Echo Saber. They've got the pounce. They've got the kill. A double for Mineski. Don't want to commit the Exorcism. They want to try to defend this. Phoenix will buy back finally. There's Magpire being dropped down. The Illuminate. The heal is so good. The split shot coming through. They've got the Supernova, but there's the Ravage coming out. They're going to find Ninja Boogie yet again, potentially getting low. They take down the egg on the back lines as well. Ninja Boogie will escape for now. Nana trying to man fight as best as possible. This BKB going to work, but now it's down. Here comes the Eclipse, though, getting at least 1 kill. That's but just the reincarnation for now. And Mushi will be next. Manting will not save his life. They'll follow up with a double kill, getting it. Mushi dropped down, and this should be a buyback, and it will be for Mushi. And another kill onto Jap. They've taken the racks. They lose to no one. Ice is dead for 60 seconds. Mushi will pop the Eclipse. Spotted taking some damage, but here comes Ace. They've got the Gush. The pushback from Yapsor. The GG is called. Secret will move on. Mineski eliminated from CD.
All right, an action-packed day one here in the venue, and hopefully that was just a little prelude of what we have coming up today here in day 2 at the Armory. Of course, day 3 of the event overall. It's crazy to think that there's only 1 day left, fellas. It's just the grand finals coming up tomorrow.
That's what happens when you have single elim, but I think it also produces a lot of really good games. I think the only really travesty was that we had EG get knocked out in the first round. Yeah. They were very close to beating Secret, and now we see Secret all the way in the finals. I feel like that's something that happens all the time to EG. Like, a lot of big tournaments, majors, things like that, they'll play against some team in the first round that is around their skill level, and they keep getting knocked out just barely.
Yeah, well, then you look at the group stage and what happened there. If they hadn't lost the game to compLexity, then they would have had a different seeding, had a different opponent. So people saying the group stage doesn't matter, seeding does matter a lot some of the time. Like, arguably, maybe Secret was not expected to get 3rd in their group, so yes, it is unlucky for EG, but let's say Secret won their group. Well, they would have faced Vici Gaming or Mineski instead, and that would have been a really fierce opponent too. So it's just, there's a lot of good teams here, so you're going to face a good opponent in round 1 or round 2 at the very least.
Yep.
Yeah, I felt like that game 3 of EG versus Secret in particular was the match that was just action-packed from front to end. The entire game had these really close team fights, like 9 heroes dead, 8 heroes dead. Both teams with insane pushing power, so they win a team fight, they take an objective, they get wiped, it swings back the other way. It seems like we've had a lot of just really action-packed, exciting Dota.
Yeah, we have. And sometimes when you have weird modes like Captain's Draft, you'll get team lineups that are kind of crappy. They don't have enough stuns. They don't have enough gank potential. But I don't think that's really been the case here. Maybe teams making better decisions about what heroes to draft, or things just working out in the way they want to.
Yeah. I think they're starting to see some patterns emerge as well. I think EG played pretty well yesterday in their games, but Puppy had great drafts for, I think, 4 out of the 5 games yesterday, or 3 out of 4. And I think one thing that's starting to emerge, like, not only is Puppy able to quickly identify the key hero out of every pool, but that he seems to be going a little bit more for to secure the better late game. So we saw Mineski try to punish both games yesterday. They weren't able to do so. That's something to watch out for in this upcoming series as well, because compLexity is always a team that likes to play fast and punish early on. They sometimes leave themselves very little margin for error. It feels like they need to end the game quickly. So I don't know if this mode favors that in particular, because you don't get the same tools to punish that kind of greed, but they may just stick with that philosophy because that's how they've played for so long. And so we'll see if that's kind of the difference between the two teams in this series.
There's also, just to add to that, I think something that's been interesting to see in this tournament is that how many first pick cores we have compared to to in Captain's mode, where most of the time you try to hide your hand with your cores and get the supports first, because every core has there's like multiple counters to pretty much every single core in the pool. But in this game mode, sometimes the counters aren't there. We've seen first pick Shadow Fiends win games. We've seen a first pick Tide yesterday. I think there's another one that I'm missing here. There was another first pick core, I do believe, maybe even from Secret. In 2 games, they picked a core first. Whereas Mineski elected to go for their supports first. They went for the Jakiro Pudge in one game. The other game, they went for Pudge Disruptor. I think both games against Secret. That support opening didn't really work out for them very well because they ran out of options to counter the cores with later on. So pretty interesting to see how those 2 completely different styles clashed of drafting, and Secret came out on top clearly in that matchup. So
yeah, I agree. A lot of the times it could just be teams valuing cores a little differently, I feel. And then if you match that against Captain's Draft, yeah, it produces like completely different opportunities and what matters. So it's definitely cool to see that. I feel like SF's the first pick core consistently every single time that SF's in the pool, always picked. We're still seeing a lot of Naga bans as well. So we'll see if things change a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's focus in a little bit on compLexity versus Vici and maybe start on the North American side. How are we feeling about compLexity and Captain's Draft? They were in the group that we didn't have on the mainstream, so we didn't get to see them quite as much. But are we feeling confident with their odds against Vici coming into this?
I think they definitely have the potential. I mean, they beat EG in a game. They've always been a team that has a shot of taking games off of teams that are thought to be better. But it is best of 3 still, so they're going to have to do it 2 out of 3 games. And Vici looked really good in the group stage, in my opinion. I could definitely see them easily getting top 4, which I guess would just be winning this match would get them to that. But I could see them in the finals as well. Vici's super good. I think it'll be tough for Cole, I think.
Yeah, I want to see this Call team card as well and see what kind of enthusiastic faces we have.
So who was it Cole played in the group? They played
EG twice.
They played EG twice, and then oh dear,
that's a good one.
Who did Cole play in the first game? They played EG, and then they played.
Was it like Pain or something
Pain,
like that?
I think.
And then they played Pain.
No, they won. So EG played.
They
Pain.
played EG, and then they lost to OG, and then they played EG again.
Correct.
Right, that's what happened. Okay. So the OG game, I think, was fairly one-sided, I do believe. I think I saw a bit of the draft and a bit of the gameplay of that game. I don't know how much we can draw from that. It's a single game. It depends on drafts and stuff. But compLexity, I don't think looked like they didn't look like they couldn't win any of those games that they lost to. Or any of those games. Yeah, they lost 2 games, right? They lost to both EG and to OG. So
it's not very much information, but
no.
I mean, they're definitely not a bad team. They go to a lot of tournaments, qualify for some stuff. Said they were ranked 13 overall in terms of points, so they could definitely use a little bit of a boost.
So how about versatility, right? It feels like that's been the big factor that we've been ranking teams on for Captain's Draft. We've talked about Ice, Ice, Ice a lot. Whose compLexity's Ice, Ice, Ice?
Z-Freak has a pretty big hero pool on the position 4, especially. There have been games for compLexity where they actually kind of play Z-Freak as a core, where they give him the Winter Wyvern and they pick Drow, and then all of a sudden this position 4, Winter Wyvern goes Midas, Bloodthorn or something. I think there was a game with that. It's an interesting option for them to have that I feel like Z-Freak can play both greedy and play more of a playmaker style. That's something they could maybe draw from. I feel like Chessie has a pretty big hero pool as well. He plays both harder carries. He can also play the Brewmaster type style, which we obviously see them put on Moo mainly, but Chessie's hero pool I think is also something that we could see compLexity make use of in this matchup.
I think you can make that direct comparison even to Moo, right? It's someone who's played carry recently as well, just like Ice, Ice, Ice. And sometimes he leaves his lane to give the supports more, to give Z-Freak more, as you said. Sometimes he's going to sit there and take more farm as well. So I think Moo's the direct comparison there in the offlane.
Okay. So how about the Vici side of things? They did look very strong in the group stage, no doubt. Jack, maybe let's start with you. Expectations coming into a best of 3 instead of the best of 1s?
I think, well, again, the Chinese fans love to see when Chinese teams play against other teams, and I think they would expect Vici to be able to beat compLexity. But it is Captain's Draft. A lot of different looking games can come from it. Again, just like Vici, similar to Secret, I think in their drafts so far in these Captain's Draft games, they've looked for that to secure that better late game. We saw the last game they played. I think they had like a tricore of Medusa, OD, and something else.
Void.
Void.
Yeah.
It seemed like a very greedy lineup, but again, like can teams punish? And that's been traditionally compLexity's forte. In recent months, that's been their playstyle. So I don't know if they can do that successfully against Vici.
I do feel like the Vici cores are just so strong. Like Ori, when he played Shadowfiend the other day, it felt like he made 0 mistakes. Just consistently, he knew how strong he was. He knew when to cast raises. He knew when to move and which directions. He never made mistakes there. So I feel like if he gets put on a hero that has huge play potential, like Shadowfiend, and his supports give him a decent laning stage, I feel like he could easily run away with games and not make any mistakes.
In contrast to Ori, I think I would like to see Old 11 step up a little bit. I don't think he's had his best tournament so far. He had his Darkseid performance in one game was not the sharpest we've seen. In the
He dropped his arcane boots.
I mean, we could talk about that. That's just one aspect of the game. They were like, he had a team fight where he ran through 3 brambles and didn't even make the fight. You know, it just seemed like he wasn't playing his A game that game. In the Void game that they won, the Tricore game Jack was talking about, there were multiple team chronos almost. So I think it goes to show that if they can make mistakes like that and then one player can have a day off and they still get that second place in their group, then Vici Gaming obviously are in one of the top contenders for this. So now that it's main stage time, I feel like that's when 11 really shines most of the time. I think he plays very well in the important games. So it's elimination time. I want to see him step up.
Lanham has a bit of a cold, so that's why he's dressed like a ninja right now. So that might be a player to watch out for.
Well, he's lucky he didn't play yesterday.
Yeah, you mentioned the cores. That was their kind of team-building philosophy. Ori and, Ori they got last year. Paparazzi, obviously, this year from IGV. They're both very expensive transfers for them. I think they negotiated to try to get Ori from his previous team for over a year. He was like the heart and soul of his previous kind of tier 2, tier 3 team. So yeah, they take the highest guys on the ladder they can. That's kind of their team-building philosophy. They put them, obviously, around the best captains that they can find. And that, in this case, being Lanham and Fenrir. So.
I mean, they all played amazing, really. Bringing up Paparazzi, I think he was the one that played Wraith King the other day in that interesting way with the Aquila pushing towers.
Yeah.
I have a lot of faith in all their players. And even Old 11, I did see him faltering a little bit, but he also felt really pressured some of his games. Like the Abaddon game, that was the only lane that they lost that game because they dedicated like 2 supports to keeping him zoned.
Interestingly, I think that was his best performance, though. That was actually that game when he got pressured really hard. I think he played the best in that game. That was also Vici's most convincing win of the group. What's that game? What was it they had with the Abaddon? That was the Abaddon Shadowfiend game, right? Yeah.
Abaddon, Wraith King, double Midas, that game.
Yeah.
Definitely unconventional, right? So we should have a draft coming up before too long, but here we go, the Vici card. Very nice. Some choosing to engage, others not. Now, funny story, we didn't actually have the players use name cards or anything, so we just took pictures. And when I looked at that Ori picture in post, I went, huh. Which player was that again?
It's kind of hard to tell who somebody is from there.
When you see just nose down, it's pretty hard to tell.
That's why Batman only covers his eyes, right? It's enough, right?
Yeah. So we learned our lesson on that one.
Yeah,
Make sure you have players jot down their names in order that you shoot the pictures.
Yeah, on a piece of paper.
Especially if they're wearing hats. That's a
very, very common player photo shoot thing. That way the random people who may or may not play Dota can figure it out.
His name's on the back of his jersey, guys.
Yeah,
well, you'll notice they're all wearing coats, and the back of the jerseys are not particularly visible in the pictures there, Jack.
Believe it or not, unless you tell them to turn around and do something like point to their jersey, you never really
Don't be ridiculous.
Photos, so. It's one of those things you think you'll remember in the moment, but yeah.
It's great, though. I'm glad a lot of the players were able to engage us and have fun with the costumes that Sir Action Slacks was able to provide. But, yeah, there you go. I'll give a round of applause for the players for participating in our antics.
That was a Slacks clap. I don't know. You just say Slacks and everyone will applaud.
Slacks.
I like Slacks.
He is in the building, everybody. Don't worry. But speaking of or worry, right? Speaking of Slacks, we have another piece to share with you guys. He's been touring around Washington, D.C. with his good friend Thomas Rutherford Goodfellow. Let's see what their next step in the adventure entails.
To our tour of DC, showing you reasons why you should visit or things that you can do while you're at Captain's Draft 4. And here we have the Washington Monument. Now again, I don't know very much about this, but we can once again summon our entrapped ghost of, I believe his name was Thomas Rutherford, I don't remember. Ghost! Oh, there you are. Sorry, Thomas Rutherford Goodfellow, was it?
Why do you keep doing this to me?
What's wrong, Thomas?
I'm with my wife and my family. She's deathly sick on her bed.
Oh.
Why must you keep tormenting me, you fool? I've been telling everybody about the War of 1812 and no one will believe me.
What can you tell me about the Washington Monument?
Please.
Just tell me a little bit about the Washington Monument and you can go home to your loving wife.
All right, fine. At 555 feet, it is the largest erection in the world.
Okay, you mean thing erected, building erected?
That's what I said.
That's correct. All right, well, actually, it's not the biggest one. It was at your time, but in 1889, the French built the Eiffel Tower, which actually was then the biggest
I don't want to hear about those damn beer-pelting French. They better give us a big, giant woman statue. is built by freestanding masonry. There is not a single piece of cement that holds those bricks together.
That is incredible. That thing is huge, and there's nothing holding it together. How does it stand up against these ferocious winds?
The devil's magic.
That's not accurate. No, just very good masonry is how it does it. Thank you.
It's the devil's magic.
All right, thank you. Thomas, please continue with your fascinating facts.
There are 896 steps in that great monument.
That's incredible.
It's one for every step that great General George Washington took in his lifetime. My friend, of course.
Well, that can't be accurate.
No, I knew him well. It's absolutely accurate.
No, well, we have things called Fitbits these days. They track your steps. That's like hardly, we walked more than 800 steps.
Fitbits, you mean fits like the great pox that my wife has been suffering from all these times?
No.
It's awful. It's the biggest affliction we've had.
No, it's not like that at all, Thomas. Anyway, do you have any more facts about this great national monument?
The tip is made out of aluminium, one of the most rare metals on Earth.
Aluminum?
I'm sure you've never heard of it before. It's probably too rare for your people in this day and age.
Yes, aluminum. We have it. We
aluminum?
Yes, we wrap our steaks and cooked foods in it.
What? How?
All right. Well, we'll continue. I do have one question. So I see there's a discoloration between the bottom and the top. Can you explain that for me?
The Freemasons.
No, it wasn't the Freemasons. It's actually, you were building it and then you had to stop and then you went to a new quarry with different stones.
Listen, it's a Freemason conspiracy.
Okay, thank you guys. We'll check in with you again. Why don't you go back to your wife and family in the past?
It's so cold. How am I supposed to keep my family safe?
All right, thanks everybody.
Hear ye! The battle betwixt Team compLexity and Team Vici Gaming will beginneth soon! Please send me your duelists! Yes, Kyle! Hashtag Kyle! Back to back! No shaking hands, it's a duel! Back to back! Begin! 1, 2, 3, fire! This is the winner! Applause! Pick or side?
First pick.
First pick! Wonderful. Oh, Jesus. What?
Dire.
What?
Dire.
What?
Dire.
Dire! Wonderful! The battle betwixt the teams begins. Bloodshed on the field. Back to the panel. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sir Action Slacks, the red coat himself. A pleasure as always, and congratulations to Vici for taking the rock, paper, scissors.
So a little interesting about the first pick is, you got your 3 bans on both sides, then you're the first team to grab a hero, so that may mean that they're going to try to ban out heroes that are slightly below that first pick category, try to leave the Shadow Fiend in. Like if they can get SF, for example, is something we talked about in the panel. I think that's their win hero. I think that's why they went for first pick.
It feels to me like when I watch these games that I kind of favor first pick over second pick. In captain's mode, sometimes that 10th pick of the draft can really just throw things off completely. Like you see the perfect hero that is that last pick that just counters the enemy lineup. But a lot of the times in captain's draft, that hero doesn't exist. So instead being able to take that primary core that just looks really good, I don't know so far in the tournament what the win rates are, but I would imagine toward the end of the tournament that we'll see a slight advantage for first pick. It seems pretty strong to me right now.
I feel like we've seen a lot of scissors win, actually. That's the stats I really want to see.
That's another meta.
Can't wait to see that Reddit thread after this is all over.
That's true. The meta is developing, right, Sind?
That's that like one key hero philosophy, right? So not only you get 3 out of the first 5, but you get that first hero, and sometimes it's like a really defining hero out of the pool. One of the ones that you mentioned was Magnus as well, the hero we've seen consistently banned, enables everything else, gives you that big disable. You also mentioned some of the other cores like Tide and SF, so it makes sense if you have that philosophy to want to get that first pick.
I like the Magnus point. Yeah, it's been a hero we've seen consistently. If your draft can't be as perfect as you would have it in Captain's mode, you can just grab any melee core, and now they farm faster, do more damage. Not to mention having RP for kills and ganks. You can pretty effectively offlane.
Ladies and gentlemen, game 1 here in day 2 of the venue. Vici Gaming versus compLexity at Captain's Draft 4 by Events DC. It starts now. It's single elim. This is elimination. Let's see what happens.
Oh, Pangolier.
I see a Pangolier that's about to get banned.
Yep.
Well, I don't think Vici won't ban it, surely.
I think there's a decent chance that they do.
But they got first pick. Surely that's the best hero in the pool, right? Am I wrong?
What Pango counters are there? There's Bloodseeker.
Well, Enchantress is banned by Vici.
It's not the best Pango pool
like
ever.
Doom.
Now it's better.
I expect Wisp or Pango to go here.
I was thinking for net reasons, interrupt the ultimate, but
There's also the Brood. Like you also want to get rid of these kind of like cheesy potential immediate game winners, right?
We've also seen
both
Chen.
teams have a Brood player, I believe.
Yeah, we've also seen Chen on that list, and there you go.
See ya.
Early bans. Wisp could also be potential, and Tusk, the pretty highly valued position 4 that we've talked about quite a bit.
Are we seeing any like key cores except Brood that could just destroy in this pool?
Meepo potentially.
There are decent Meepo counters. There's Sven, there's Enigma. I'd say Shaker can somewhat be decent. Not the highest single target damage heroes though. How many disables are there for Storm?
That's what I was just kind of thinking.
It's not that much. There's Disruptor, who's pretty good against Storm. I feel like in this kind of pool, Bat Rider becomes a really strong hero as well that could even be first picked if the good lane counters do not exist. There is a Juggernaut against the Bat. That's the only good core matchup I see.
There's also a CK, so if you get rid of the Sven or ES, it's a pretty strong pick.
Okay, they do end up banning the Pango.
It's expected. Oh well, it's expected that it gets banned, but I would expect the second pick team to be banning out the Pangolier. This kind of, I think compLexity were setting up their bans this way because they wanted to see if Vici were willing to ban it for them. So now they essentially got a free ban. I think if Vici banned something else, compLexity would have banned the Pango themselves. There goes the Storm.
Two other things kind of standing out to me. There's a Wisp CK combo, old school, but still can be scary.
Can be very good, especially in this mode, absolutely.
Yeah, and there's also a Drow Ranger with a Vengeful Spirit, so you could go for some aura, really aggressive kind of 5-man death ball. Seems like that's been a pretty high-risk strat when teams have gone for it, but always an option.
Absolutely.
And a trend that you'll see with some teams, Mikasa has been drafting for them recently, although it was Lanham before, and some other teams, like for example, VGJ Thunder, ROTK, handles the draft entirely. So that's something that some teams are beginning to hand over more to their coaches, and others kind of, the captains want to retain that.
Interesting.
Well, burning through some extra time here. Not quite sure what they want to go for. I do feel that they were really trying to get the Pango to squeak through, but towards the end they probably realized there were enough important heroes left that they changed up their battle plan. I think that's why they're taking a little bit more time.
The thing is, a lot of Chinese teams don't really play Wisp, so I feel like if they pick something else here, like something like, then I feel like compLexity would almost instantly respond with something like Wisp CK.
It's definitely the kind of thing they do. There was definitely a period of time where they'd go like Tiny IO or IO +1.
Is there any core that's just like super good here? Just pick Disruptor or something?
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty safe, I think. We saw a couple of games where Disruptor would just get your team like 5 to 8 more kills than they should get in the mid game with a couple glimpses. So
yeah,
it's a good opener, I think.
It's solid. Like if there's no really standout core that you have to get, you get a flexible support that has like both aggressive and at least somewhat defensive potential and some laning. You get a read on what the enemy is trying to do, and I'm sure Vici Gaming will pick at least, I think they'll pick one core in the next phase that is not their offlaner. I think they will invest harder into a core that they believe can carry the game. compLexity will go, there's the Bat Rider. So we're going to see a Jugger, I think we're going to see a Jugger pick here from Vici Gaming, I'm pretty sure.
It's definitely a good opening for Cole, though. I mean, even against a Juggernaut, okay, yeah, Bat's not going to be able to solo kill him as easily, but their lanes are completely open here between the Tusk and the Bat pick. So
it's also felt like 4s have been that high-value prize, where if there's somebody like Tusk or Earth Spirit in the pool, you need to scoop them up really early.
Yeah, I think Vici might have spent their time thinking about picking Tusk instead of the Disruptor, and that was what they were debating. But Disruptor, I would say, is one of the better support counters to Tusk. So if they take Tusk and Disruptor goes the other way, they're like, okay, what's the bigger advantage? Obviously, when you snowball in, you can immediately just get Static Storm counterplayed or caught in kinetic field, and There's the glimpse. There goes Juggernaut as expected. And what is the other one? Brewmaster. Okay.
Probably off-lane Brew.
Yes, more than likely.
I think that might be kind of, if there isn't even in this mode, something like a deny pick. It's something compLexity has run a lot in different positions. Helps them really end the game early on, and it's just a nightmare to lane against. So I feel like compLexity would very likely have valued that too if they had it left.
Yeah, what safe laner do you even pick into Brewmaster in this game? I could see compLexity go for the IOCK right now, actually.
He's not wrong.
Sign would have been better yesterday, but they didn't play yesterday, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
it's okay. It's not his fault.
I could see IOCK, I could see IO Sven. Sven has a good core matchup against Juggernaut. He's a carry that naturally builds BKB, which is the item against Brewmaster, good against Disruptor. Knowing compLexity, I think they really like their IO. They play it in Captain's mode quite frequently, and it's a good pairing with Tusk. So it's one of the classic things that we saw Liquid popularize, where you play the classic position 5 player, plays more of a playmaker role, and Tusk is one of the playmakers that needs the least gold, so he can actually take up that role while IO takes a bit more farm. And Kyle, I believe, is a big fan of playing Tusk, so I don't see what is stopping them from getting an IO +1 here if they're that intimidated by Disruptor. I don't think they need to be.
It feels a little scary to pick the Sven into the Jug. It makes sense on paper. We saw yesterday how you can kind of play around the Sven with the Juggernaut and really focus the Omnislash more around pickoffs and then pushing rather than those big 5v5s where you get a lot of value out of the Warcry.
Then you still have the Chaos Knight. If that's your concern, you can go that route instead.
Exactly.
So they will get the IO.
There it is.
Alternatively, you just wait and you pick your mid, and then you wait for last pick and you see which one is better out of Sven and Chaos Knight. I'm pretty sure they will get one of those two, but more than likely they could get countered decently hard in mid. I feel like there's options against most of the heroes that compLexity could pick here. If they go for something, maybe OD is a pretty safe choice, but it's not the best OD game ever. Drunken Haze is super annoying. You can get Cyclone in fights. OD generally doesn't get BKB until like 3rd major item. You want Blink and Pike first, mostly. So actually hates that matchup, I would say, against Brewmaster.
I feel like Brew has so many solutions against all these heroes that we're talking about. Even like IO could be Cyclone just to prevent him being able to actively heal or send him to the side. Against Sven, you can Dispel the Warcry. It just seems like no matter what they pick, it's going to not be quite perfect.
That's Captain's Draft for you.
I suppose so.
That's actually Dota for you.
My eyes just keep going to that OD. I kind of agree with you. We've seen some teams gravitate towards Pugna in that kind of core role, but I don't know if this is really an ideal Pugna game for the compLexity side. What'll it be? It's Enigma.
Okay.
So an old compLexity classic. Comfort pick from way back.
Surprising.
So could this be Bat versus Brew 1v1, I'm guessing? Maybe they'll try to do something like that?
They could try to play a safe lane Batrider and then run the IO dual lane mid, and perhaps the logic with picking Enigma here is that they feel like now they have a solution for a potential CK pick or a potential Sven pick. Enigma, good hero against both, having that hard lockdown and good damage over time with the Midnight Pulse. And if Vici doesn't feel like picking either, then compLexity can just take their pick in the end. If I am Vici Gaming right now, I'm not convinced about maybe picking Chaos Knight into this lineup. At least it's a bit intimidating with the Enigma on the other side to run a CK.
And if they can't be that aggressive with their early lanes, then Enigma's also going to deny a whole lot of experience. So I think the Enigma pick works out pretty good here. It's definitely harder to punish in Captain's Draft.
Exactly. It's generally considered in a lot of matchups in Captain's mode. It's a bit greedy because it doesn't generally put that much pressure in lane. It's more about denying and slowly just farming up some jungle as a rotation where you play half lane, half jungle, which most of the time just lets the carry of the enemy team free farm. But in this case, obviously the available heroes and the current picks from Vici Gaming don't punish as hard. There goes OD, the other side. Will be grabbed by Vici here.
I like that. They can banish Batrider when he lassos somebody, or if somebody gets focused by Tusk. I think it's a decent option.
So
kind of limited support pool here left for Vici though. Phoenix still in.
What if they play position 4
There's
Brew?
Earthshaker as well.
And the Earthshaker, yeah.
Could this team play position 4 Brew, Jack? Do you think they would even consider that option?
I think they've done it before. I know in the past they've experimented with
Lanham
things
likes
like
that, right?
position 4
I think.
Beastmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a real possibility for them.
More than likely they will put Brew Core though, but that's like the debate they could be having right now. They have 40 seconds left. Should we pick a core or should we pick a support? If they go support, I think really good options in this game are Earthshaker. Vengeful Spirit has value as well against the Enigma and Batrider. It's a double save. And
it's the Venge.
Saves against Lasso, counters Black Hole. I think it's pretty solid.
If they didn't have Swap there and Enigma gets a BKB, he's just going to he'll have a full ultimate every single fight of the whole game. So
I like this pick a lot, actually.
Makes it a lot harder for Enigma to just do what he wants.
Sometimes you fall into this trap of trying to counterpick the opponent too much and you don't have synergy between your lineup, but I feel like Vici Gaming's lineup comes together pretty well. They have the Aura of Venge, they want to push with Juggernaut and use Brewmaster ulti, getting that Vengeance aura on all of them.
No, it's the Drow.
Okay. All right, okay.
Wow, well that's a spicy change of pace. Not one we expected 5th pick, but okay.
4 out of 5 ranged heroes. It puts their lineup. I think this works out pretty good. Have you tried the new Enigma Eidolon talents even?
No.
They're pretty darn good right now. It's like you get like triple the Eidolons by level 25, I think. There's a Eidolon damage perk at 20. You can actually push pretty hard. And if you do that plus Drow Aura, turn your Aura on, you could probably just wreck towers.
Most of the time, I don't think too much about Drow strategies about how it works when heroes hit level 20 and 25, though. Like, you don't really game plan for the Drow wants to win the game ideally before that point, but it's obviously a nice back.
I think they can lengthen it.
What do we got
here?
To that
point?
Feels a little all in to me. I'm not sure if they'll be able to get the momentum they need, so I'm picking Vici for this first game.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm not feeling this Drow pick, especially because I don't know who Io is going to play with this game. Is he going to play with a Batrider mainly? Is that going to have a high enough impact? I don't know. I'm not that big of a fan of the Drow last pick.
I'm in the Vici camp also.
I really like the cold draft, but I don't want to lose 2 points, so I think I'm going to do the unfair thing and choose Vici Gaming, even though I do like the cold draft.
Okay. Well, we'll see. It is a best of 3, of course, folks, so this is only game 1, but Dota 2 starts now. We've got 2 casters to take it away, and I believe it is Mott and Brax for this first series.
Hi there, guys. Mott here with Brax. How's it going, buddy?
Pretty good. Hello, Mott.
Bet you guys didn't expect to see me here, huh? Brax, you look very cozy in that panda hoodie.
I'm so warm. I've never worn this thing more than at this event, actually.
That's a lie. I just saw a ton of Instagram pictures with you wearing that in another country.
Yeah,
recently.
but it's Instagram. I put it on for like 2 seconds, took the picture.
So that's how you Instagram. You don't actually have to experience life. You just photo it and then get rid of it. That's all good. Vici Gaming versus Cole, game 1 of this best of 3, of course, an elimination series. These all are. Moo's very cold. It's okay. We'll warm him up after this game. Brax, what do you think of these lineups, buddy?
I like it from both teams. I think Cole has the potential to snowball big time with the Drow Ranger and stuff. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so compLexity, of course, their home base is not too far from here, so a lot of family in the audience. When we first did this tournament, Kyle messaged me pretty much immediately saying, hey, we have like 40 people coming, so can we get tickets? I'm like, no, you have to buy them. Sorry, buddy. So that's how we made all our money at this event.
Thank God.
Thank God Cole qualified for this tournament.
So what do you like about the Vici Gaming lineup?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the analyst, buddy.
Okay, well, I just want to hear your opinion.
I don't know anything about Dota.
All right, so basically this Brewmaster guy, he gets on top of you and splits. Drow doesn't like that one bit. She wants to keep her distance, and a lot of these heroes are good at closing the gap, so that is good.
You like the Venge pick later in the draft? I think that was the 5th pick, right, against the Enigma for the most part?
Syndrome was talking a bit about this, where you pick hero counters a lot of the time, but you don't want to ruin your draft doing it.
Yeah.
And it does suit this lineup pretty decently, so looks fine.
Been seeing a decent amount of Venge position 1, probably more so in Captain's draft than Captain's mode as of the last, I want to say 6 months, and it has not been pretty, as much as I hate to say that, because I love watching Venge core.
The hero feels kind of like, it is a carry, but it's kind of like a semi-carry, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel super strong later on in the game, doesn't keep up in farm as well as the other heroes, but still feels strong.
It drops off depending on what the rest of your lineup looks like, but the fact that they have an OD and a Jug, I think, could work out in the long run. And of course, the one beautiful thing about having a Venge core is you're going to get more levels than you're used to, so that swap, especially the level 2, the level 1 swap is basically melee range, at least that's how I feel all the time. But getting that up early, teams aren't used to playing against that on a consistent basis.
No, definitely not. Look at that. Lanham has a crit at level 1, actually, the zone.
Oh my.
4-position Brewmaster, something we're not totally used to seeing.
Yeah, we saw the 4-position Centaur yesterday work out quite well, so it's kind of in the same vein, but without a stun.
I didn't watch the game. How did it actually go?
They won.
Oh, okay.
They won big time.
Sounds good.
Despite the Centaur,
He
you're
did a
saying he
lot
didn't
of
do
work.
anything? Oh.
No, he was level 2, and he was ganking left, right, and center.
Oh, actually, I did watch that game. I just didn't notice the centaur.
I mean, that was the main reason they won, Frax. But
All right. I should pay more attention.
So Fenrir and Ori in the mid lane right now versus Chessie and Zifreak on that patented IO, the Arcana, of course. Don't get to see compLexity pick IO that often because it's usually banned. I was a little bit surprised, especially in Captain's Draft.
Yeah,
that it wasn't
that
banned.
a lot of these heroes like that have a lot more power, right? When you don't have a full draft to counterpick heroes like this.
Yeah, exactly. Well, in the very early stages, Juggernaut 11-1 in the CS department. He's actually doubling literally everybody in the entire map, which is a little bit surprising. I guess some of them are Eidolons, so maybe that's not.
Probably a lot of them are, right?
Yeah.
You can spin them down and clear out the Eidolons before they split or just even after. It's one of these matchups where he gets a lot, but Enigma gets everything he needs as well, so it's not so bad.
And we're going to have a rune fight here between Fenrir and Zifreak, but no rune will spawn.
Wow, unlucky.
What does Kyle need to do in this early game? See Tusk as a roamer, but this is more of a position 5.
He's definitely focused more on the laning phase, right? Making sure Batrider has a decent laning phase. You know, Bat doesn't have a whole lot of CS, but once they get some levels, it's pretty difficult for Revenge and Brewmaster to stay up there.
Yeah. And we briefly mentioned the IO, but how do you like IO in this game specifically with this lineup that compLexity has?
It's a bit weird with the Drow, right? You don't think of that as the ideal partner, but it is still one of these heroes that can help your heroes mobilize quickly, especially the Batrider. Pretty good combo, especially when he's like has a bit more farm priority. I don't know. It can work for sure, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's ideal. It's kind of like it's not like with the CK. You know what I mean? Where it's super easy, point, click, stun, go. It's a bit different.
I mean, one good thing is if you try to set something up with like an OD to try and surround that Drow, you can relocate.
Yeah.
Giving, Drow just with Tether, extra mobility to be able to create distance, especially with Gust, synergizing with her ultimate, be able to create that space.
It helps a lot. This is kind of a weird Drow lineup. Like you have range heroes, but these guys aren't the best right clickers, right?
I don't know if you've seen the IO. What level is that?
Oh,
is it the 20 or the
attack,
25?
right?
It's pretty legit, too. Yeah. It's actually pretty legit. But
definitely very underrated.
If Zifreak gets a ton of farm and experience, maybe we'll see that. We're going to see some more Blade Fury action on the Eidolons there.
You know, the talents on IO are so good.
They're actually pretty crazy when you look at it, but then you realize it's IO, and you're like, I mean, the Scepter bonus at 15, that's probably the most exciting thing to speak of.
Well, this is like your most favorite topic to talk about, right? The Aghanims.
Yeah, I mean...
Who's the best Aghanims user on this team?
Oh, that's tough. You know, believe it or not, I'm actually going to go with Tusk.
Okay.
You kick somebody out, even if they have BKB, they're out of the fight. It sounds like a ridiculous range. It's a ridiculous range. You can see nice eye shards there from Kyle. Not able to block him in, unfortunately. Paparazzi level 3 right now in this Vengeful Spirit, going for the 2-1. When do you get the Vengeance Aura?
Honestly, this hero feels like you can skill it any way you want.
We got First Blood, buddy.
Oh, didn't even see it.
Technically, he caught it on camera.
That's true.
Young 11 taking that for himself. He is pretty farmed right now overall. We'll have the phase boots ready at base.
Yeah.
Is there any timing windows for each respective team? As Limp is going to attempt to get away here. Zifreak healing him up. Here comes Kyle as well. Nice snowball. They're going to be able to get this kill on Paparazzi. He pops. No, he's not going to get away. Not this time. Lanham in the meantime burning down. Very nicely played from compLexity, getting 2 kills. And look at the spread of damage. That's when you know things are going well for yourself. If all 3 are relatively low, but nobody actually dies.
Yeah. You know, that's the early game combo of Wisp and Batrider. They have huge turn potential, right? You can keep the Batrider alive with the tethered overcharge heal, and then you can run these heroes down.
Yep, good stuff.
Pretty nice.
But Young 11 in the meantime, he's pretty happy. He got that kill. He's had complete free farm in this bottom lane. 29-5 again in the CS.
Yep. So the thing is, he's happy, right? But then, what do they do about this off lane on the side of Vici game? They have 3 heroes committed to this Batrider lane that they can keep doing that over and over.
He can also keep doing this Blade Fury action over and over.
Well, he can't. He has no mana.
He'll get it. Yeah, he had a mana pot in his stash. He'll get that pretty soon. I'm sure about that, buddy. Plus, you have Essence Aura on your team. You'll get mana.
So he's gonna run mid and
he's gonna TP down bot and just get that lucky proc.
That's a team player right there.
Absolutely. So Enigma offlane, of course, Moo. Pretty powerful hero. Obviously, the only true counter would be the Vengeful Spirit.
Yep.
Would you expect... he's actually saving his levels right now. He has 3 in Eidolons, 1 in Black Hole, and holding on to 2
See if he needs that Malefice or not, or the extra damage from
Midnight Pulse.
Midnight Pulse, but
Yep.
we'll have to wait and see.
You know,
Do you
there
think is Lincoln's in his future?
Yeah, sure, why not? Game goes long enough, he can definitely get to one.
He's one of the best farmers in the game, after all.
Yep. And there is the Venge counter, but there's also a Bat Rider, right? So you have to pick and choose which ability you want to counter.
You mean Bat Rider for complexity?
Yeah, like there's the lasso.
Oh,
right?
we're going to see the first black hole of the game. This would be a big kill for complexity if they can get it, and they will.
Very nice.
Pop or Young 11 does fall on that Juggernaut. He's basically playing the position 1 this game.
Yep.
For Vici.
The way Cole set up their lanes, right? VG can't really stay in front of these heroes for too long. Every time the black hole's up, Juggernaut's in danger. I imagine Juggernaut's probably going to like TP top, and they'll go for a tower push or something, and then somebody else will defend bottom, try to make some sort of play off of that.
Oh, we're going to have a stun here on Limp, but Kyle again is here to play. The Ice Shards are going to connect, but Paparazzi will just TP away safely, land him in the meantime. We'll try to do the same, burning ever slowly, but there's the lasso to cancel the TP. And it looks like Kyle's TP was used quite wisely. He's been all over the map this game, doing quite nicely for complexity. And Moon in the meantime, oh, you better be careful. This is an Omni Slash, not able to get his Eidolons there in time. The Blade Fury should be enough to take him out, so some revenge for Young 11 in this lane. He's going to try to clean up these Eidolons as well.
Yeah, good stuff. R button's being used.
Yeah, that's the one thing I do like about the way complexity uses Enigma, and you don't always see this with teams, is when you hit that 6, you try to get that black hole right away. It doesn't need to be a big team fight or anything like that. As here comes Limp with that flame break. Fenrir tries to use the kinetic field, but it's not going to be enough to get away this time around. And another kill for complexity with a 5-2 advantage, despite being down in net worth.
Yeah, again, every hero that goes top is just in so much danger with the Tusk and Bat Rider combo. Like, they'll all die, except for the Juggernaut, but Juggernaut wants to keep sitting bottom lane, keep farming up.
Right.
And it's kind of this this dead area for VG Gaming.
A little cheeky play there from Mu, denying that bounty rune. I think the thing that I'm looking for is Z-Freak hitting level 6. We're about 2 minutes away from getting that the Tome of Knowledge. He was trying to get some solo XP. Young 11, look how fast he is with that haste rune. Oh boy. Z-Freak, if you can find nice jukes there. Oh, the Courier, though, might not be so lucky. There's the fortification for the Courier, of course. The invulnerability. Can they maneuver it away? You know, they want to deliver the item as well as Chessie. And Kyle will find Young 11. Young 11 getting a little bit annoyed here. His rotation didn't really pay off this time around.
Yep. Still, they're switching the lanes up, right? Now Juggernaut can sit up here without really dying to the Bat Rider. I think that's a big problem. They need to move their lanes somehow.
Z-Freak getting Chase Fenrir with the glimpse into the kinetic field. We have TP support coming. Will it be enough? Tether is up and away. Oh, he gets banished in the middle of it. You don't see that very often, and he's going to drop as a result. But there's a lasso counter initiation from complexity. They did enough damage to actually do this. Ice Shards onto 2. It is a 2v3 though with complexity on the back end here. TP support coming in as well. Flame Break will connect on land, and not going to be enough damage to actually get the kill this time around, though.
Oh man, if Bat had like one more level, it feels like it would have had more damage to kill those heroes. They were stuck with the Firefly for such a long time.
Oh, Ori is going to take some balls to the face. Got a couple more on the way. Limp in the meantime, taking another Astral Prison. This is my tournament. I can say whatever I want. Limp in the meantime. Getting tethered right. Z-Freak still level 4. Again, that Tome of Knowledge. Is that going to be enough to get him to 6? It's going to be close. No, he just hit 4, so probably not.
Not even close.
Not even close. It's going to be like 5.3, let's say. 5.3 levels.
Sure. He'll probably get in like 1 more minute.
No, there's the swap. Young 11 is here. He's going to use Blade Fury. No need for Omni Slash this time around, and Mu will find his way to the grave. So another death for him. Black Hole is up, though, so you have to expect once he's up, that complexity will try to smoke gank or something to that effect. His tier 1 tower now being pressured.
At least this tower is healthy, right?
Yeah, for now.
Yep.
And I mean, this is the thing about Vengeful Spirit as a core. It feels like you just 5-man at a certain point.
It does. She does not farm very well at all.
Very, very bad flash farm.
Yep.
So at what point do you think she's best suited to start that 5-man process?
I mean, they have another carry in the Jug, so it's not entirely up to, and the OD, of course, so she doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting, so now's probably a good time. Whenever you have a swamp, it's easy to set up these kills really quickly. And it's honestly not just about her, right? It's about the team moving to converge on these objectives. Like, they'll probably wait for Brewmaster's level 6 as well before they really start to take objectives.
Very true. Don't get to see some of these heroes in these respective positions very often. So typically you see the Panda with, or the Brewmaster
It
with
changes
already.
the timings a lot from these teams, right? Because you need to wait for these ultimates, especially Disruptive too.
And we see a Toma knowledge being delivered to Vici Gaming as a smoke gank is a Bruin here. No pun intended, as Brewmaster is not in the smoke, so that wasn't technically a pun. LAN only halfway to 6 right now, but if they can net themselves a kill, that should be able to get them pretty close to the
He'll be super close.
Oh,
He's got the tone too.
Okay, he's good.
Yep.
Oh boy, Paparazzi. Oh, he's going to get the Howl. There's the swap into the Magic Missile and the Blade Fury. Is a freak though. Tethers away and will be fine for now. We have TP support again in the form of Batrider. There's the last on to Young 11. The Omni Slash is there. And all the procs are on poor Z-Freak. That is super unlucky.
I feel like that happens every time. Doesn't it?
It does. It feels like it. But at the end of the day, compLexity is going to be very happy with that trade. Fenrir, in the meantime, in the bot lane, gets punched in the air by Kyle, and that's going to be an easy kill as Ori a little bit late to the party. And then
They still have hold too.
Indeed.
compLexity making plays everywhere.
Bottom lane, Kyle gets the snowball. Okay, Ori is dealing a lot of damage. He has to force Seth out. That's a newly purchased item for him. TP support again coming in. LAN in the meantime, getting harassed by Chessie. Does he have to force the primal split? Doesn't look like it. Will walk away safely. And Paparazzi, this is the thing about the Vengeful Spirit that we brought up. That swap, especially during the nighttime, very good initiation possibility, even with the low range. Kyle taking some damage from Ori, gets out the ice shards, gets glimpsed back into the snowball. Here's the black hole, though. It's going to whiff, unfortunately, for compLexity. Kyle trying to use as many spells as he can, knowing that he's resigned to his death. So a kill goes the way of Vici, and black hole is now down.
Okay. Sometimes that happens.
And that's true. Paparazzi picking up the haste rune, or the bounty rune, I should say. Oh my god, that is so much damage. Jesus. It has the DD activated, so only a couple shots with that magic missile are enough to take out Z-Freak, and this is...
So that was a huge rotation for Vici, right? But look, at the same time, Drow Ranger's hitting the top tower, so it's not that bad, honestly. You're still going to trade objective for objective.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing lost was the black hole, in all honesty, but it will come back soon enough, 160 seconds away. So it looks to be a trade of tier 1s in each respective side. Kyle and Moo grouping up, putting a Midnight Pulse down to try to deter Vici Gaming, maybe a potential deny, but that's not going to happen. Young 11, though, looking for more. Blade Fury's there. Nice pushback from the Ice Shards. And avoid any further damages. Chessie, he's going to get hit. The Sandy's Eclipse is not quite enough as Chessie TP's back to base.
Raindrop saving his life.
Yeah, that's true. So Moo again, 130 seconds till that black hole comes down. You have to expect he wants to correct his former mistake with another better black hole coming up as Young 11. He's pretty low on HP. We'll see if compLexity can get anything out of this gank. LAN M. It's actually a somewhat hard kill to get. They're going to focus on Fenrir for now. There's the lasso. This should be a pretty easy kill. Young 11 is here, though. He has Omni Slash available. And again, Z-Freak gets destroyed by
got
it.
a haste rune.
Panda had popped his Brewmaster ult. And that is 2 kills the way of Vici Gaming as they're on the run. But Young 11 has his healing ward up, so he's going to be good to go. They're going to focus on to this Batrider. That's looking to be the 3rd kill for Vici Gaming in this engagement. And that healing ward is doing so much work right now. Super value as Chessie's being chased. Extremely slow, but here comes Z-Freak. Only level 5, not able to use his ultimate. Still not level 6 yet, so 4 deaths here for compLexity. Make it a full team wipe as Vici Gaming. This is the Vengeful Spirit timing we were talking about. With that healing ward, they're able to sustain all that damage.
Yeah, they have a very fast-paced lineup. Juggernaut can always fight with the healing ward as well. Vengeful Spirit, the same thing. Biggest cooldown is the Brewmaster split, but it doesn't even feel like they need it to fight.
I mean, he's the position 4. It's not like they're relying on it at all. That was just an icing on the cake.
Yep.
Wow, Jinx. Jinx Brax, this Roshan will be attempted, and I would assume this will be successful for Vici.
It looks like there's nothing they can do to stop it at this part of the game. It's way too early.
Yeah.
And it actually dies quite fast. I mean, that was like compLexity smoke down. They didn't have black hole, but at the same time, because they don't have black hole, it's not as obvious.
Oh, he's not going to go for this? He tries sticking A-bombs down, but no, they're not going to risk it. It could be absolutely disastrous if they went for that and fed a couple kills. So Aegis will go the way of Ori on the Outworld Devourer.
This was quite the unfortunate sequence of events for compLexity, but
Moo has the Midas, so
that's right.
If they can extend this game, I mean, it is a 5K lead, which is pretty substantial, I want to say.
Especially, yeah,
15 Slash.
Pretty big.
Not available for 30 seconds, so Limp is just going to Firefly away. So usually with Vengeful Spirit, there's a timing window. but this game it just doesn't feel like that's the case at all.
Right. It's not like you have this Juggernaut who's, in theory, like the offlane, right? But he is a true one position in this game. And then OD's also having a fantastic game, so it doesn't feel like that there's a timer at all for this Vengeful Spirit.
We've seen 2 towers go down for complexity with this Drow. Of course, we talked about how not really the best combos with the Drow as far as the attack damage globally. Unless you consider IO's right clicks. I mean, they're okay now, I guess, but
yeah,
doesn't really have the usual partners that you're used to.
Which team do you think has better late game?
Well, the black hole is always something to fear no matter how far you're down.
So
it's not able to get Malefice off there. That was a really long TP, actually.
Like a lot of the time, games with Drow Ranger typically...
I'd say Vici.
Okay. Even with the BKB black hole potential?
I mean, that's the main thing that's keeping them in the game, right? Limp gets glimpsed back into the kinetic field. He's completely surrounded. Easy kill for Vici, and you have to expect this to be a tier 1 tower incoming as well.
I think that both lineups are good in the late game. It's just that right now, VG's team, it's super easy to execute, right? Any target that gets glimpsed is probably going to die. They can go on any hero they want. They don't have to worry about clumping up for this black hole because he doesn't have Blink Dagger yet. And even when he does get the Blink Dagger, it's not really, that's not the item that changes the game, right? He needs BKB, Lincolns, and Blink Dagger.
Yeah,
so.
he needs a lot of items for sure.
Yeah, they've got a huge window where they can keep just rolling from tower to tower, and there's probably nothing Complexity can do about it. I mean, Limp, he doesn't have Blink Dagger either.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about how great this Vici gaming lineup is for 5-manning, and with an Aegis on top of that and this 6K net worth lead, don't think there's much Complexity can do without a crazy black hole from Moo.
Yep,
But
their
again,
high ground
no initiation from him.
The high ground defense for Complexity is still very, very good.
Oh my God, Jesse's getting destroyed. The shards are there, that actually blocks him in, but able to get TP'd out by Z-Freak. Might be the end of Z-Freak. It's Omni Slash on the Moo into a Blade Fury. Another kill for Vici Gaming across the map. We'll see where Z-Freak comes in, see if he can get a crazy tether off. Ori trying to get that Astral most likely. Gets the tether on to Kyle. Takes a couple right clicks on the backside though.
So
saving that Invis rune. It's going to be close. He gets banished. I'm not sure if he did get it.
It's in his bottle.
So he should be okay unless they have vision. No, he just dies. Okay.
Yeah, there's a sentry placed on the high ground, so.
Oh, Ori's going to jump in now. Kyle with the snowball. Not going to stun him for too long. Tries to get the Walrus punch, but it's not going to happen. Ori taking another kill for himself. 16-7 with a 9K net worth lead here for Vici.
It's extremely difficult for Complexity to find anywhere safe to farm up. They do have good wards, though. I mean, they have 3 wards placed in the Radiant jungle to help them split push the map, try to find some sort of farm, but they just need so many items before they can fight.
Yeah, we really haven't seen the presence of Drow Ranger, I feel like, this game. And I don't know how much that has to do with not having the usual partners that we're used to seeing, or whether it's just Vici Gaming or they're just grouping up way too early for a Drow to actually answer.
Like the Drow Ranger aura, you know, it amps the physical damage of all these range heroes, but at the same time, you kind of want good right clickers paired with that, right?
Yeah. Jesse's going to take some right clicks. Oh, that's a glimpse coming back as well. This should be enough to take him out. So another kill for Vici. No answers for Complexity. The TP's canceled. That's a static storm wasted. So that's
actually
something.
Gets the blink off there.
Oh, he actually blinked out of that.
Yep.
Oh, man. All right, well, the tier 2 tower looks to be uncontested for now. I don't think they're going to do anything until Drow Ranger's back in town here with 30 seconds left on the death timer.
Is this high ground? It is 19 minutes into the game.
Wow, Ori jumps in very aggressively. Of course, has the Aegis for another 40 seconds, so wants to kind of use it here. As long as he doesn't put himself in horrendous position. Oh, Moo's stuck in the middle. He needs to get this black hole off with the Blade Fury's enough. And the right clicks. That is a dead Enigma. Does have buyback, though. Or can wait to 50 seconds. But this tower and Rax will fall if he's not going to be able to buy back. Drow Ranger up in 5.
If you buy back, it's just doesn't change anything, right? And then you just put yourself farther behind.
Right. Yeah, there's always that potential for sure. Young Eleven getting quite low because we have the lasso initiation, but there's a Cyclone from the Brewmaster keeping him in tow. And the black hole is going to be used. They've been able to get 1 kill, but that's just the Aegis, mind you. And the Brewlings don't really care about the black hole at all. They're going to group up yet again. Ori with the Sanity's Eclipse onto 3 heroes. 2 dead, though, on the way of Vici Gaming. Omnislash destroys Kyle, but that's just a support. So Complexity will be able to hold here. Can they get more is the question. Ori looks to be next on the list. And Limp continuing the pressure. Young Eleven's pretty fast. Should be able to get away here. Limp continuing with the sticky napalm. Fenrir running away for now. See if he can slow him enough. The kinetic field is there. Flame break back into position. We have some more members of Complexity coming. Can he get the Malefice off? No. The TP inside is enough for him to get away. But it's still a 3-for-1. Not even including the Aegis. So nice fight there for Complexity. Nice hold overall.
Yeah, it was. They lost what? Just the tier 3 tower? Not too bad. They did have to buy back on Enigma though.
Oh, did they? Okay. Yeah, that is unfortunate. But not only with that fight, compLexity should be able to get this ult. Might have some trouble here. Young 11 with the Blade Fury. And Chessie looks to be an easy kill for them this time around. Limp blinks away to safety. Moo. He's going to get chased. There's no Omni Slash for another 60 seconds, though. So don't have to worry about that spell. There's a glimpse into the Limp. Static Storm as well. This is a lot of... Look at Paparazzi's damage. It's insane with that Mask of Madness.
Mask of Madness, yeah.
Just ridiculous. 2 kills in the blink of an eye for Vici Gaming, despite losing that fight.
None of these heroes do anything when Juggernaut gets in their face at all.
And Kyle's just going to be the next victim for Vici Gaming, it looks like. 1 snowball and Walrus Punch is all he has to say about that. Z-Freak is going to find the tether onto Moo. We'll go in opposite direction for now. And Moo should be able to TP out to safety.
It feels like compLexity's lineup never really came online.
Yeah.
Right? We've just seen them trying to play catch-up the entire game. They just can't take any sort of fights at all. And then because of that, they can't group up and use the Drow Ranger for...
Oh boy, Moo gets glimpsed back. Doesn't have his BKB yet. And you have to think that this is going to be an easy kill for Vici Gaming again. We do have support on the way, but there's no way. There's no way that's going to happen with Relocate down right now.
60 seconds, no Enigma, no tier 3 tower as well.
Yeah, and of course Vici knows that he doesn't have buyback because he just used it in the last engagement. So it's going to be a tough hold for compLexity on this mid-Rax as Young 11 doesn't have healing word for 12 seconds, so has to be a little bit careful here. Blade Furies for now. Lots of damage being applied. Okay, the Astral Imprisonment. Where does he actually show up? He should show up where
he lassos him.
Yeah, so he's going to be dead. He doesn't even able to get the primal split off in time, so this could be a potential hold here for compLexity, but Limp getting destroyed by Ori from the rain with that Hurricane Pike. A beautiful jump from the Omni Slash, killing 1, 2 buybacks now for compLexity. They'll probably get this melee Rax at the very least, if not more. Z-Freak into the Static Storm. Down he goes, buyback as well. And this looks like the beginning of the end for compLexity in game 1. Sandy's Eclipse to finish it off. That is a rampage for Ori. And it might be a double rampage instead of my God.
Oh boy.
That is one fat OD. GG, well played, come out. compLexity losing 23 minutes to Vici. I was not expecting that bad. I was expecting this to be a pretty even series overall. Of course, it's only 1 game. Drafts mean so much.
Yes.
These captain's draft. And just the Enigma, good in theory, just needed so many items this game. Wasn't able to get there.
The drafts really show a lot in Captain's Draft. You can kind of see how it plays out in the lane phase too. And honestly, there's nothing they feel like they can do at all.
Yeah.
Like they had a strong safe lane with the Bat Rider and Tusk, but after that, it's just nothing. Juggernaut's unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, Juggernaut had a free lane for the first 10, 15 minutes, got a kill, and from that just snowballed.
He got a haste spin and ran from bottom lane to top lane.
Yeah, that was slightly lucky, but at the same time, definitely took advantage of the situation.
There's no luck in Dota.
Okay. Would you like to do a rock, paper, scissors with me?
That's skill.
Let's go. 1 time.
All right, let's go. I'll beat you.
Is
it on shoot?
It's 1, 2, 3, go. Okay.
Wait, so is it 1, 2, 3 shoot go or 1, 2, 3?
1, 2, 3 shoot.
Then go.
I don't need just.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Wait, I only won because I thought you were gonna say shoot and then go. So I was still like ready to go again.
We need to go over this later. We need to definitely practice.
You're not very good
this.
at explaining the rules.
I mean, it's pretty standard. I don't know what to tell you. Anywho, we'll go to a quick commercial break and see what the panel has to say about this first game. Of course, it's best of 3, so stick around for game 2 coming up next.